if your back pain isn't getting any better, I've got 10 questions that I'm just going to run through, 10-15 minutes, that you probably think in your head if your back pain isn't getting better. So I'm going to run through them and explain how you can actually fix your back pain and get long-term results in terms of improving your mobility, your strength, your confidence, and getting back to whatever it is you want to get back to, whether that's a sport or an activity. So let's jump into it. First question from someone. Why does my back pain always come back even after rest or massage treatment? Good question. First thing we need to understand is what is the point of rest and massage treatment. So a lot of the time you'll have been told to rest by maybe physios, coaches, friends, family, because rest seems to be the thing that people do when you're ill or you've got an injury or an ailment. And actually with back pain, it can be one of the worst things to do, because as you rest more and as you avoid movement, your back then gets stiffer and stiffer and stiffer, and you start to lose more mobility, more strength, more confidence. And so it's actually taking you backwards. And the same thing with massage treatment, because really all massage treatment is it's the same thing as rest. Because when someone's giving you a rub down, you're getting some short-term pain relief because they're rubbing the injured area, so the brain's sending a signal to that area to give you some pain relief. But it's not fixing all these underlying things. And again, if you're just going back for a massage every 2, 3, 4 weeks, as you continue to do that, you're losing all these other physical qualities, like I spoke about, mobility, strength, confidence, all these different things. It's a little bit like if you don't drive your car for a long period of time. To actually keep a car healthy, you need to drive it fairly often to keep the engine going, to keep the oil going, everything moving in the car. And your body's no different, especially with back pain. Hopefully that answers that question. Next one, should I keep training through back pain or take time off? So if training was doing the thing that caused the back pain initially and it's going all out, then you probably don't want to do training, but you don't want to do nothing. So you want to do something in the middle, which I would call rehab. And all rehab is just graded exposure to more and more movement. Great example. If you've got back pain from bending over to pick something up and rounding your back, then the objective is obviously to get back to that, but you don't jump and do that straight away. And what you might do is you might start on your back doing some gentle breathing exercises. Once you feel comfortable, safe, relaxed on your back, then you might get into a kneeling position and do some breathing exercises. Then you might sit on a chair and maybe you start to just slump a little bit and start to round your back a tiny bit. Then once you get comfortable doing that, maybe you stand up and start to round your back a tiny bit. Then maybe you start to round your back more and you reach further and further down until maybe you're touching your thighs, then your knees, then your calves, and then before you know it, you're touching the floor again. And that movement wasn't unsafe, it was just something that triggered your back pain, more than likely because of other things going on in your life, such as maybe stress, poor sleep, poor nutrition, maybe you're not as active. Well, yeah, maybe it's just a time in your life where you're not as active and not as fit as you could be. Hopefully that answers that question as well. I thought that was quite decent, hopefully. Do I need to fix my posture? Do I need to fix my posture to fix my back pain? So, no, definitely not. Posture is a massive myth, and good and bad posture is a massive myth as well. So a lot of people will think slouching and kind of like rounding over is bad posture, and being sat bolt upright with your shoulders back is good posture. But the problem is our body likes to move into different positions, and it's actually healthy to move between, let's call them good and bad postures, even though they're not. So actually the healthiest thing you can do day to day is actually just moving from a slouch position and then shoulders back, upright position, and just changing and experiencing new positions. The reason this idea of good and bad posture is really, really harmful is because when you're told something is bad, you never go into it. So if you're told slouching is bad, then you will never round your spine, you will never round your shoulders, and then it can actually make things a lot worse because then you're just sat bolt upright all the time like this, and it has the same effect as in if you were slouched all the time. Just keep moving. Your next posture is your best posture, to be honest. Is stretching actually helping my back or making it worse? No, stretching's okay. I think a lot of people think I give it a bad rep, but stretching is very similar to massage. It gives you some short-term pain relief to the area at your back because you're applying tension and pressure there by stretching it, and then your brain will send a signal there through your nervous system, through your spinal cord, to relieve some tension and maybe provide you with some pain relief. But the reason I don't particularly like it is it's not particularly time effective. There's much better and more effective mobility stuff you can be doing, like getting bones moving, which sounds like a bit of a weird concept, but for example, instead of stretching muscles in your lower back, maybe you could just get your whole spine moving, maybe you could get your rib cage moving, maybe you could get your pelvis moving and your hips moving. And then a lot of the time, when you get bones moving properly, moving well, then a lot of the muscles that attach onto these bones become loose, become supple, and lose a lot of tension there. You can move very freely. So yeah, a lot of back pain clients, what I give them is just like 5 minutes of daily mobility stuff, but a lot of that is working on those big areas for the back, rib cage, spine, pelvis. How much should I be walking or moving each day when I'm in pain? So walking is amazing for back pain. I think the best way to implement it, if possible, is short 5 to 10 minute walks as frequently as you can throughout the day, because that movement frequency is key. So that's probably a lot better than going out and doing like 1 hour walk. You're probably better off maybe splitting it into not 6-10 minute walks, but maybe if we can do like 3 or 4 shorter walks, that would be much better, just because then you're getting your back moving more frequently. Walking is also amazing for reducing stress, clearing your head, getting off your phone. That's a massive thing. Also full body mobility. And if you're not someone that goes to the gym already, then just general cardio and yeah, heart health, it's really good for that. Help you lose weight. Like, I just think walking's amazing, really easy to do. Yeah. Why does my back feel fine when I'm training but stiff and sore later? So a lot of the time this is just a movement thing and like a blood supply thing. So probably when you're training, your back's feeling all right because you're moving a lot and you probably have a lot of blood in the area. It depends what you're doing training wise. And then usually like when you come back from the gym and you've been at work all day, you're just sat on the sofa for a long period of time and it seizes up. It's probably just a lack of movement, and a lack of movement also other underlying things that aren't just the exercise. So like again, are you drinking too much alcohol? Are your stress levels like, are you more stressed than usual? Are you generally healthy? Maybe do you need to lose a bit of weight? Just like really basic questions, but you'd be surprised how much of an impact that has on back pain. What is the most underrated exercise for lower back pain? So I definitely think walking. I definitely think initially, early on, 5 to 10 minute walks a few times a day. Sounds really, really simple. The other kind of hack, if you will, would be getting a standing desk, which I've got here, which I can't show you, but yeah, essentially it's just a mechanical one. Click a button, electric one, moves up and down, and if I'm getting a bit uncomfortable, sat for let's say 30 minutes to an hour, then I'll just put it all the way up to the top, stand up for a little bit, and then move around. So it just allows you again to change positions, change postures, and yeah, just be more comfortable. Can strengthening my core actually fix my back pain? So if you're talking about like traditional core work, so like planks, side planks, things where you're just holding one position, in most cases I would say no. If you're talking about actually getting your spine moving and like rounding through your spine, extending through your spine, side bending and rotating, then I would say yes. 99% of people with back pain have got very, very stiff backs, and therefore when you get given these core stability exercises, think about this, your back is already stiff and then you're getting given an exercise that makes you stiffer. So logically, in that sense, it doesn't really work. Think about that. If you have someone who's very, very immobile, I don't know, let's take a rugby player, and you want to improve their mobility, you don't give them exercises to make them more immobile, you give them mobility exercises. And this is a similar approach here with the core. Instead of just holding one position, we want to get the spine moving, so we can still train the core just through different ranges of motion. As I said, flexion, extension, side flexion, rotation. I've tried physio, massage and chiro, nothing works. What am I missing? So the real question is like, there's a million and one different questions here. What did you do for physio? the massage and chiro isn't working because it's just providing you with short-term pain relief. So same thing that I mentioned at the start. It's just providing your nervous system with a bit of pain relief, like switching off, losing tension in that area, and then you have to keep going back to see them again. And while you're doing that, because you're not rehabbing anything, you're losing mobility, strength, confidence, conditioning, all the things that you actually need to fix your back pain. In terms of physio, it really depends what you've done. So a lot of people, like the previous question, have just tried a lot of core stability stuff. They've got a stiff back and then they just make themselves stiffer. So that could be something. Maybe physio just was underloading you and actually wasn't preparing you for what you want to get back to. Maybe there's no plan in place. Maybe you didn't get on with the physio. There's a million and one different things here. But from a physio point of view, I'll take an example week with a back pain client at the moment who wants to get back to Olympic weightlifting. He is doing 4 strength sessions a week, 2 upper body, 2 lower body, which are between 45 to 60 minutes. And then he's also doing some daily mobility, which takes him 5 minutes. Now, obviously that's someone who wants to get back to sport, but let's say you just want to get back to walking the dog, then it might be 2 or 3 45 to 60 minute sessions a week, and then a bit of daily mobility. So it really depends on your goals, but that's the kind of ballpark. And within those larger sessions, it would be some mobility to warm up, then some strength stuff, and some plyometrics, some jumping and bounding when we kind of get around to it and your pain reduces enough. And the daily mobility is just getting everything moving in a much more effective way. So getting the bones moving again, rib cage, pelvis, spine.